wind up teaching more of the, what we call it, I mean, it's this, right? It's balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's yin yang, hot cold, yin yang. That matters. And there's times early in my career that I was just teaching like jam, like we gotta lift, we gotta run, we gotta sprint, we gotta work hard. Now I find myself teaching way more of the other side of things,
Mm.
because I do work with a lot of driven athletes. It's like, oh, well, your knee hurts, like how much do you roll? Oh, I can't roll more than 5 minutes because it's just boring. It's like, well, we need to get you a Zen playlist. We need to put you in a good environment. We need to teach you to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be the answers, right? Like when those things, when it happens, I know that it's time to meditate. I know it's time to go to nature. Like nature is the most grounding thing for me. And that word grounding is funny, and that's what's hard sometimes about being somewhat of a vagabond or being all over the place. It's like you get to a new location, you have to adapt to the environment. How do you get grounded with that environment? It's usually actually getting in touch with the environment, and walking around barefoot, getting they call that grounding. I was at the beach in Plum Island a few months ago, and I'm out just doing my regular run, and I'm barefoot. I mean, it's the middle of the winter, and this lady thinks I'm crazy because I'm barefoot. That's just how I train. But she's like, "Hey, are you grounding?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess I could be grounding, but they sell like $500 earthing mats that give you the same effect as getting in the ocean or walking around on grass barefoot."
Yeah.
So I've recognized that about myself, like, and it's a matter of like there's so many outside stimulus, and like you can get addicted to your phone, and you're in email all the time, and you're online, you're constantly in these screens and technology and these wi-fi signals bombarding you. Just to leave that all behind and go out to nature and be like, wait, this is, I'm a human, this is the environment that I evolved in, and that a lot of times is very centering. So yeah, getting out to nature, meditation. I do pray. I don't label myself as any certain religion, but I do have a spiritual conversation within something that's greater. And I think there's times when I know that I'm not being authentic or I'm working too hard, that it's harder for me to have that conversation
Mm-hmm.
with whatever I'm talking to. So those are a couple strategies, and then yeah, I mean down regulation strategies, like I mean Jimmy and Serena, we've been getting in the sauna like 3-4 times a week, because that's the quickest way that I can hit a meditation. Because a lot of times, like when you're stressed, that manifests itself in your body in physical tension. So the heat combined with putting your feet up and getting your spine long and decompressed is a great way to actually down regulate and release. And then like your mental warm ups, like breathing and doing a lot of deep exhale or deep breath cycles with especially long exhales. I found that especially long exhales really help, and it really helps when you're in a position where your
Hmm.
spine is not being compressed by gravity. So feet up 90-90 on a hard surface. And then the cold also is very centering, especially because a lot of times when you are grinding too hard, you're making poor decisions. So, oh man, I'm gonna eat this pint of Ben and Jerry's. Like I'm gonna have some sugar, whatever it is. That that brings inflammation into your body, and inflammation reduces performance and your cognition. So getting out and just hitting the reset button on your body with the cold. And that's one of the reasons that I've always tried to get into cold environments in the winter. I had a great training cycle on Plum Island this off season, which is a little barrier island off the coast of northern Massachusetts, because I was in the ocean all the time, and I felt like any time that I was grinding too hard, all I needed to do was go and get in the ocean. And knowing that that's there is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, last night I just went for this walk up to the top of the mountain, and when I started the walk, I was just feeling like, gosh, I have all this to do, and I'm leaving tomorrow, and blah. And then just walking it out and getting up there and breathing, it's is very helpful. So and a lot of people like reading this book, The Daily Stoic, and like one of the whole chapters is, hey, when you don't have the answer, when you're feeling just, I don't know what to do, just go for a walk. And it's so powerful. And then if you can go for a walk in nature, that's where it's even more powerful. So I've really tried to get around environments where I have access to those things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I did leave Boston. Is it was just like, gosh, I'm commuting 45 minutes every day, it's just a very high stress environment. This is not the lifestyle that's going to get the best out of me. And I need to find those environments. And then the last thing would just be friends and good relationships.